Hi there, this is Amanda Frankel with our Crafty Playdate, and if you're in a state like mine, Illinois, then you are also locked down on quarantine, or at least for sure you know somebody who is, and please stay home and be safe. My husband is a healthcare worker, he's a physician, and I'm really grateful for those of you who have stayed home to help keep his exposure low. We have a big family with lots of kids, and we want to make sure that he can stay healthy. But I also want you to stay healthy, but you got to have a sense of humor. So I have made some cards here. Stampin' Up! Has a downloadable stamp set. So it's not really stamps. These are not really stamps. They're downloadable, and it's on the website. And this is the best thing about it. Stampin' Up! Is not making any profit whatsoever off this, as I'm not either. We are not taking a commission on this. All of the money that you spend if you download this digital stamp set is all going to be donated. It's all being donated to different COVID-19 support organizations. So if you get a chance, please download it. It's absolutely awesome. So I'm going to show you how to make all of these in different videos. We're going to start with this one today. This Just Breathe But Wear Your Mask. It's going to be a little bit different, and I'll tell you why. All of these cards are using retired papers. And I did that intentionally because I want to show you how you can use it with stuff in your stash already. Okay, so this is what I made. The downloadable pages, I think it's 11, it might be 13. It's 11 or 13, I don't remember, pages long. And they're all numbered like this at the bottom. And here on each page, it will tell you what coordinates with that particular page. So for example, you print it in color. I printed the first 2 pages just on typing paper. And then I printed all the subsequent pages on heavier duty, our regular Whisper White cardstock, so that it would be right for a card. It would be acid free, and it would also just hold up a little bit better. But anyway, this is page 4. So page 4 has basic black on it, old olive, petal pink, that's this color up here, real red is here, rich raspberry is here. So it tells you what colors that you could use for inks if you need to use inks or papers. And it also gives you some ideas of different products that you could use to coordinate. And most of them are either additional stamp sets, or it could be the punch or the framelits that you could use, but they aren't designed to go with any specific framelit or punch. So if you had this at home, if you printed this at home and you don't have a lot of these coordinating projects, all you need is a trimmer. And even if it's not our trimmer, of course I would love for you to get our trimmer because it's awesome. But I know right now things are tough for everybody, and you could just use a trimmer you have and cut things out. I did use the framelits to do a lot of these, and what I did is I sat down with my Big Shot, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you just my hand here. I literally did a bunch of these. I cut them out with my, look at that, Wishing I Was in Quarantine with You. What a Year This Week Has Been. This is the Just Breathe But You Wear a Mask that we're going to do today. Can't wait to social distance with you. So it's got a lot of different sentiments, and I'll just kind of flip through them super quickly. You can see here, some are inside, some are outside, and you can see how I cut them out of my stuff. I love this one. So I finished Netflix, haven't we all? So this is kind of what I've done, and there are just tons and tons of different images for you, and you're gonna be happy that you got that because it's gonna give you lots of opportunities. But what I thought I'd do is I would do this Just Breathe card first, okay? So since this is the first week or the first video of these that I'm doing with this thing, I won't go through the whole spiel each time about the downloads. So be sure, I'll just tell them that there is that in the next videos subsequently, and you will have to kind of go back and scan around to look at the various videos. But we are going to use the Just Breathe But Wear Your Mask. one of the coordinating colors in that page, which, because I cut them all out, now I don't know which page it was Night of Navy. And so Night of Navy, that's what color this sentiment actually came out in. And so I just went and I pulled my Old Navy cardstock, or Old Navy, Night of Navy. I haven't made a video for you guys in so long. Night of Navy cardstock and some Whisper White. And I want to actually show you from start to finish cutting how you're going to cut this to make it really easy in case you are making these at home and you don't have a lot of stuff. Okay. And I also pulled a piece that would look good against this. So kind of a piece that would be complementary of my designer series paper. And this is actually a retired piece. And again, doing it on purpose. I know that it's retired. I am doing it so that you can, see how to use it to with what you have in your house. Okay. So we're making this one. I'm going to leave it there so that I don't forget which one I'm doing. And I'm going to get started. When you are making a card, and they only used a couple colors in all of these, they only used a couple of colors of inks and papers in all of these different downloads. So if you don't have some of these and you want some of these, by all means, send me a note, or actually you can even just look in the description and I'll try and put some of the things that coordinate. Okay, so this is an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Okay, and I am just going to put it in my trimmer this way and cut it in half, which makes it 5.5. This is a standard size card base. All right, see that? Standard size card base. And I've got another one. I'm going to hold on to that because I know that I'm going to use it. So I'm putting that there. The second thing I want to cut is my white. So my white is a panel here, and also it's a panel on the inside, because if you tried to write on the inside of this card on navy, unless you have a silver pen or a white pen, you wouldn't see it. So I'm going to teach you how to cut for 2 cards. Okay, because now we're going to have potentially 2 cards here. And more than one person in quarantine. So we're going to put this at the 1/2 inch mark right here. And it's a 1/2 inch, it's beyond the cutting grid. So it gives me lots of room to kind of support my paper. See how I'm doing that? I'm supporting a lot of my paper. So I'm going to put it at the 1/2 inch right there and cut it. And throw that on the floor. And then I'm going to turn it 1/2 inch this way. Cut it. Throw that on the floor. I can throw it on the floor because I'm the one cleaning my house. The only one cleaning my house these days. Okay, so now I have I'm taking this paper that is now, instead of being 11, it's 10.5. Instead of being 8.5, it's 8. So it's 8 by 10.5 now, because I cut 1/2 inch off each side. So half of this now is 5 1/4. So I'm cutting that. And then I'm turning this, and it used to be 8.5. So now it's 8. So half of 8 is 4. Watch this slowly. It will all make sense, I promise. There is 1 card worth. It is exactly 1/2 inch, or 1/4 inch, sorry, smaller than half the card. So it's the perfect size for a panel. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this one and put this with my other navy so that I'm ready to make my next navy card. I'm going to have one. Look at this. This one is in navy also, wishing I was in quarantine with you. So maybe that would be a perfect card. I'll figure out what color that is. Looks like it might be that one. And then I can make another card with it. Okay. So I'm going to set those off to the side and lose part of them, because that's what I do. That's the way I roll. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this in half. I'm going to move this just for 1 second because we're going to use our trimmer quite a bit. All right. So I just folded that right in half. And this is my card base. So it's like the light blue one here. And the inside just would go right in here. See how that's exactly 1/4 inch, and you can just center that and it's perfect. And this one's going to go on top. And that's also just perfect. But I'm not going to glue it yet. That would be a big mistake. All right, so I'm going to set these pieces aside for just now, and I'm going to make my mask. All right, so this is a 6x6 piece of paper, and I am going to cut it at 4 inches. All right, and this was a little trial and error, so good thing I have lots of paper. I'm going to save this piece of 2-inch paper because guess what? Oh, all right, so now you're seeing kind of what I'm doing. I'm really condensing and consolidating and reusing a lot of stuff to try and be like maybe you would be at home if you couldn't get to a store like I can't. Okay, so this trimmer has a scoring blade and a cutting blade. I'm going to move the cutting blade all the way out of the way so I don't use it by accident. And I'm just going to use this scoring blade for right now. But if you don't have a trimmer that has a scoring blade, if you have, I don't know, an old Fiskars or something and it doesn't have a scoring blade, what you can do is your trimmer is going to have a track in it just like ours does here. What you can do is where I show you to do your markings, you can just use a bone folder in your track and score, and then move it and score this way where you're not writing. So you're not using a pencil, you're actually like making a divot in it. All right. Okay, moving on. So I am going to make my first score line at 3/4 of an inch. So I've got 3/4 of an inch right here. I'm going to close that and move it. I'm going to move it before I close it so that I have to do it twice. My favorite thing. Okay, I'm going to score. All right, and now I'm going to, I was at 3/4 of an inch. Now I'm going to add a 1/2 of an inch. All right, so I just slid it 1/2 of an inch further. I'm not doing it at a 1/2 an inch. I'm going 3/4, a 1/2, 3/4, a 1/2. Got it? So now I'm going to move it 3/4 of an inch. 1, 2, 3/4. And here's a 1/2. And 3/4. And I can't remember if that's as far as I went. So we're going to fold it real quick and see. So it's going to fold this way toward me. Away from me. Remember making a fan like you used to make when you were in grade school or with your church program if you go to church or temple or whatever you, oh, we need to do another one. Okay, so that was, the last one was 3/4. So we're going to do it at a 1/2 from here. So let's do this. I'm going to put it right there and do a 1/2. All right, so anyway, you remember, you used to make these little fans. You may not remember, but you did, I promise. Okay, so that's about all I need to do, and I'm gonna give it like 3/4 of an inch beyond that last fold. So here's 3/4 of an inch. I think that's what I did before. This could be a fail, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure that's what I did. Okay. It is now. It's what I did now. Okay, so towards you, away, towards you, away, towards you, away. And there's kind of your mask. Now we need to fold it around the end. So I'm moving that cutter out of the way again. And I am going to move it to a 1/2 an inch. And this is a little harder because you're going through a couple of areas. So if you do want to use your bone folder, just like that, to make a mark, that's a good idea. And I'm going to turn it around and put that also at a 1/2 of an inch. And I'm going to give it a mark. So it's pretty faint, but you can kind of see. I'm going to fold it like that. That is my mask. I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to sit down because I'm exhausted. I've done nothing but procrastinate lately and cook for people. If you don't know what I'm cutting here a little bit just so it doesn't show because my folding is less than perfect. I know, surprising, right? If you don't know what procrastinating is, then apparently you're not on quarantine with me. Procrastinating is when you bake when you should be doing something else because you don't want to do it. All right. So don't forget, pleats go down, okay, on your card. So that's the top, that's the bottom. That's just like you would wear a mask. And I'm just going to stick a little bit of ribbon in here, like that, inside my folded area. So I could really slide this. See that? I can really slide it. It's not a big deal. I'm going to use some Scotch tape. And again, I am just trying to do what you would maybe do with stuff you have at home. Okay, and I'm not going to cut that off just yet because I want to do some measuring, because this is not a super perfect world. Okay, so I cut this with the, I'm going to show you real quick. I cut this using the framelits. The framelits that I used are the stitched rectangles, and I'll put them in the description with the number there so you can see. It's got a lot of different sizes, and it works with almost all of these dies, or almost all of these downloads. So it's a pretty good, set for right now. And it's also stitched. So I thought that was really cute for making a mask. I've been making lots and lots and lots of masks because I sew. Did you know that about me? All right, so if I put that there and I put that there, I'm gonna want this mask right about here. Right, so I don't want to stick it down just yet because I'm gonna leave it some room to tape. I don't want to stick it down just yet because I'm gonna have to do the other side of the ribbon. I don't want to like glue the mask down itself. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of secure that ribbon, pull it tight on this side, fold it around, and secure it back here. All right, and now I'm going to put my other piece of ribbon under this little flap. I'm going to stick it in there. Whoop. I'm going to miss it a couple of times. And I'm going to take my piece of tape, and I'm going to just fold it around because it's pretty forgiving at this point because it's just on that little ribbon. And I'm going to slide it down. And I'm doing it this way instead of cutting the ribbon first because I did not want to waste a whole lot of ribbon, even though I believe this one's also a retired ribbon. But who likes to waste anything, right? So some of these things you wouldn't be able to get exactly like mine. Don't worry, it does not need to be exactly like mine. Okay, I'm trying to show you how you could do it at home with whatever it is you happen to have current in our current catalog, in our old catalog, just kicking around your house, whatever you've got will work. Alrighty, and you don't have to use elastic for this mask, so that works really well. Okay, so I just put some Scotch tape on the back to hold that mask on there. See how that worked? And now, when I'm going to put this here, so I can go ahead and stick my mask down. And you know what? I'm going to step over here and see if I can find some dimensionals. Okay, here's what I've got. I've got dimensionals. I've got the old, this is, again, with the using up what I have, this is an old set of mini dimensionals. The edges of the mini dimensionals, like they're little hexagons like this, the edges are also sticky adhesive, so you can use it the same way. I'm going to take the back off, and I'm just going to stick it under here like that. And now I can slide my mask where I want it. I'm just going to slide my mask to where I think I want it. I think I want it right there, and I'm going to press, and it's going to stay in place. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and start gluing stuff down. I am still using my Tombow liquid glue because, number one, I think it is the best glue on the planet. And number two, it's going to hold this heavier card. Ooh, I don't want to do it upside down. It's going to hold this heavier card that's got a bunch on this panel down without popping loose. And I want to make sure that I'm doing that because you don't want it to come loose and fall off. Because then you're going to have this just breathe but wear your mask with no mask. That makes no sense at all. Okay, now I do want this to pop up a little bit. So I am going to put dimensionals on the back of this. And here's the easiest way in the world to do it. Look at this. Seriously, isn't this the best that this stuff still, you can still use it? I love that. Let's do that. Let's do it, as my kids would say, let's do it murtically. Am I doing it even on camera? Sorry, guys. I'm trying to be kind of speedy because I've already taken up a lot of your time telling you about this download set. But I want you guys, since this is the maiden voyage, I wanted you guys to know where you could get that download. So I will have a link to my main website, and you can get it there. And again, I don't make a profit off that. It's just, I'm going to stick it inside the mask a little bit. That look right? Perfect. I'm going to stick this on the inside. doesn't need a ton. You can see how little really I use of glue, and that's perfect, really. All right, so here is your first card, and you can see that it was pretty easy, not too hard, and ready to go. And I will be making more videos. I'm going to try and make them and upload them in pieces because I know you have time to binge watch me. And if you do, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can binge watch me instead of Netflix. You're done with Netflix. Remember that stamp that said you're done with Netflix? Also, you can find me on Facebook on Our Crafty Playdate, and I would love if you would follow me there also. I do have cards for sale there too. If you look under photos and then albums, you can see the different cards and things that I have for sale. And anyway, please look out for me. If you do not have a demonstrator, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be yours. But please just stay safe and stay home. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'll see you soon.